Good day, everyone. It's Mr. Value here, and today, instead of playing City Bus Manager, I'm going to explain the different modes in which you can play within the full version of City Bus Manager. We've had an update in the last couple of days since, the recording of the last video that you may have watched. So we're going to quickly describe free play, and then we're going to get on to scenarios, because scenarios is where it's more in-depth, stuff that we haven't experienced. Free play is as easy as described what we've been doing. Free play, for example, select Halifax. We can go in, we have our normal and expert modes. We have sandbox, where you can play around with how much money you have, what size we are, unlock, subsidies, etc. That's it. It's your basic free play, what you've been doing if you've been playing yourself, or what we've been doing at least, since the beginning of the game. New is scenarios. And in scenarios, they have 5 by default. First, step towards a bus empire. Pretty straightforward. Dive into the world of city bus management, learn the fundamentals of the game mechanics, and build your first bus network in a city of your choice. Your journey to a bus empire starts here. Great way to learn the game if you haven't already played before. Again, you can still go through with the tutorial in the free play as well, but this is going to guide you through everything, step by step, and then, of course, you take over, you do your thing. Commuter Chaos is the second one. Chances are you're going to want to do this in order kind of thing. This one here, goal is to transport 500,000 passengers while dealing with high passenger volumes and unexpected events. So I'll explain how those work as we go. Heat and Hustle, similar thing here. Reliable bus network is missing. It's numerous excursions, festivals, etc. So that's going to be something where a lot of extra buses fluently are going to be needed. So another one city of your choice. Buses replace cars in Jackson, Wyoming, the United States, Yellowstone National Park, and ski resorts. Probably a lot of events happening there too, but on top of it, your goal is getting profits as soon as possible. And last but not least, London on the collapse. Transport crisis in London. We need to maximize profits in only 21 days. That's got to be one of those ones you got to quickly get on it, but quickly get going. So, without further ado, I played around a little. I said I wasn't going to, but I did, because I wanted to learn from what was happening, what to do. So we're going to go create a new Mr. Value North America. We are going to strictly select Halifax just because that's the actual city closest to me. I mean, yes, as in the Season 2 of my City Bus Manager Let's Play, Kentville is technically the closest community, but it's not the city. And as you can tell in the game, it's been tough to get people aboard to be raising a profit. Now I'm getting there slowly, but in this, we can play around. So we start by background. In this case, we're going to choose city, and it immediately loads the game, loads the map. Haha. Quickly load in. Now here we are in the gorgeous city of Halifax and Dartmouth. Basically Nova Scotia's twin cities, although one side's completely different than the other. For the sake of this, I'm going to drop this right here. That's where the depot is. Hello? There we go. It is the depot here, actually, in Halifax. It's the main one. There's a secondary one that wasn't able to be shown on the map because it's not extended that far yet. So we're going to start there. Very good, very good, very good. Indeed. Now, time stops. You get to play around with some settings. So, how much money do we start with? You can start with anywhere from $1, which I think is not a great idea, all the way to almost $1 billion. $1 shy of $1 billion. There's other general settings like unlocks shift schedule immediately. All bus types researchable from the beginning. This is a fun one that I was kind of inquiring with. Unlock buses by year of construction. If activated, newly researched buses are unlocked in the order of year of construction. So, for example, I'd actually have to see the buses, but for example, the LFS is a more modern bus than some of the other ones. Well, we might get, like, for example, the Ceto. They're not the same class, but let's say they were. Let's say the Ceto was a older model and the LFS is a newer model. The Ceto would be unlocked first. You can also control how many maximum external depots you can have, anywhere from 0 to 14. So you can force the game to have one depot only, or you can allow it to have as many as you want. In the other one that I'm showing you, in the other one that popped up, I am setting it up to do the entire province. And when that is done, I will show that off, because that's going to take a significant amount of extra time on top of doing these videos. Probably going to take a few months, so I apologize for the lengthy delay in even visualizing it. You also have the option of turning on changing settings within the game. Easy peasy. That's once you're done all of this, then you can go ahead and change settings after the fact. I usually am going to leave that off. Now, you can also unlock all researches immediately. And if you do, it takes away a lot of those settings that I just clicked. You can have it on or off to activate standard tasks, as no research is required with the current setting. The player does not have to complete any tasks to collect trophies for research. If this option is activated, the game will still generate additional tasks for players to earn some extra money. For the sake of it, I'm going to turn this off. That keeps this bar that comes up over here with all the different tasks that you can do. Just doesn't even bring it into the game. It's kind of nice. Takes up a bit of space. All fun and games. Scenario name. This is going to be my test. And description is going to be testy test. Plain and simple. Not doing anything fun and crazy with this. I will show you a bit into it what will happen. Again, our time doesn't do a thing. Next, we have the settings in slider form. And just may as well start in that left column. Passenger volume, you can go very low. If you're building in a city that's rather large in population, like New York City, and you're not giving yourself a lot of money, you can do this to allow yourself the ability to learn with less passenger traffic in general. Or you can go as high as you want. Much higher. For example, where I'm at, if I was to build a scenario and play Season 2 all over again, I would do Season 2 as passenger volume much higher, because that area, we're not known in this area for really a care much for the public transportation. Unfortunately, I've always been upset and sad at the idea of that, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people see it in Canada and the US as something for those that can't afford a vehicle. We're very vehicle centric around here. And unfortunately, that leads to a lot of fun issues. Like, for example, if I work my job at 6 a.m., I have to find a different way in. There's no transit before 6 in much of Canada, with the exception of major cities like Toronto and Montreal. Service center default customers, you can go much lower, much higher default. And this also does get affected by the research of the mobile app. In this scenario, I am going to put it as lower just because I don't really want to focus too much on the service center. We're mimicking a revolutionized city with the ability to use cell phones. A younger city, I guess, if you will. Cell phones are a big part of it, and everybody runs their life off them these days, so not a lot of people need the service center anymore. Frequency of random events, you'll notice as I slide this down here, these numbers change as well. So if you want them more frequent, trust me, you can have them happen multiple times a day even. In some cases, almost. Like, it's just like every 2.3 days, traffic control. Which, by the way, I have yet to experience the traffic control. Unless the smartphone was what we fired Justin over here not too long ago in Season 2. I'm going to leave that at default. And you can actually, randomize. However, like every 4 hours on a recall. Like, could you imagine every 4 hours there's a bus recall? Gosh, no. You can also disable. And you can also just do such by clicking over here. In this case, I personally am going to disable pretty much all of them. And it's not because I don't want to play around with these things at this time, but I don't need the additional distraction within teaching you guys the play-by-play of Scenario Editor. You can also go with subsidies. Now, subsidies, you can deactivate them for that matter. I mean, let's be real here. Who would want to? Subsidies is the amount of money that you get from the local government for transporting passengers. Now, in my region, it's just a set amount the government gives. It's based on taxes. I don't know what the percentage is. I'm going to guess like half to 1.5% of a value. I'm going to guess about half a percent of the value of someone's home gets paid in taxes, as long as they live within a certain range of public transportation. Unfortunately, there's not a lot around here. I'm just going to go higher for the sake of the fact that it's Nova Scotia. Subsidies are great because we're going to be paying our drivers a heckin' lot more. Broken buses is the only thing that's not part of random events. This is just on its own. Things happen. Although damaged buses down here. So damaged and broken, I don't know what the difference is. Actually, I am going to turn that on just for the sake of it. I'm going to go lower on the broken bus because let's be real here in real life. It's not frequent. Unless you live in the Annapolis Valley, then maybe. But outside of that, I don't know how bad it is in Halifax. I've been down there a few times, but I don't really follow too much with regards to the conditions of the buses. Unlike up here, where if one goes down, you know. Expectations of employees. Employees with higher expectations expect better pay, fewer working hours. Let's be real, the expectation of most people is pretty high. We're going to go much higher. Dirt caused by passengers. This is, indoors of the buses, if you will. Basically referencing, do we have to clean it more frequently? I'm going to go just lower on that. Again, one of those little minor things that I don't really want to focus on. And the expectations of the passengers. Passengers with higher expectations are more critical when rating your company. Those 15 or so categories that the passengers reference us on, those are the expectations. So they expect friendly drivers. They expect quick service in the service center. For now, I'm just going to go much lower. I don't have time during all of this when showing you to describe to you these things. Next, we can go into the buses. Now, first things first, you can allow all buses. Immediately just say, allow the buses. Or we can select specifically. I don't want the LFS in this game. Let's click it off. Let's do what we have to do. I'm going to leave them all on just to kind of show you. Again, allow all buses, takes the list away, it just allows them automatically. And lastly, goals. There are goals. Average bus cleanliness, always higher than. Well, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what percentages of cleanliness are considered bronze, silver, and gold. I'm going to guess gold. It's probably 85%. Now, can we always stay higher than? I don't know. At the start of a shift? Probably. But that depends on your dirt limit. Also includes research available. I'm honestly just going to make this steps of 15 percentages. And it asks about time limits. And let's be real. Do we want to give a time limit for these things? 50% cleanliness in 10 days? But the rest of them, let's give them 50 days to reach 80%. In between, 1 month to let them to get to 65%. I mean, this, if you hit these percentages at certain points, maybe you get them sooner. Or maybe it calculates them at these days. I don't know. I haven't played that far. Again, I'm still just developing. You could go network coverage. And I can promise you right now, 100% is not feasible. And if you ever try to do 100%, you're just going to continue to give yourself frustrations. Especially in an area like Season 2, like the Annapolis Valley, like Kings County. You're going to run into scenarios where you have one building or point of interest in a 5-kilometer stretch of road. That 100% has to include that place. And then you're looking at other issues along the lines of number of passengers, a certain balance in dollar value in the account. So, like, for example, this is where that one where you want to get in a certain amount of days. Let's say you start with 200,000. Well, by day 45, month and a half, you reach 500,000. If you don't have 500,000 by day 45, you're fired. Let's just say that happens. So I'm just going to keep the bus cleanliness this way. Now, the other thing that can be done, I don't remember if I saw it in here. Oh, here we go. Yes, under Save and Publish. Include hired employees. So during the scenario setup, you can hire employees. You can keep the hired employees. You can keep the vehicles that were purchased. You can keep the ratings. Include the company premise. I mean, if you turn this one off, no point in really keeping that. Maybe the employees, but not the vehicles, because if you don't have the premise, you have to build the premise for the vehicles. It's just a process, right? It's just a process. Keep location. Having this on keeps it in Halifax. If you turn it off, anybody can do anywhere in the world. That's kind of one of those ones where it's your own city versus, London, for example. Include external depots. This option, just like the other include, keeps the external depots for this region. You turn this off, you don't have access to it. Same with bus stops and bus routes. Anything you set up in the scenario editor and you save allows you to keep these things in place for whoever else you want to play it if you upload it to the Steam Workshop. Now, I haven't seen what's all in the workshop yet. It's been a while since this has been released. I apologize ahead of time for how long it's taken me to get to this. My schedule did not really line up, but now here I am. We're going through this step by step. You can include bus route statistics, so anything that happens during this, you can keep that. And you can even include the shifts if you have pre-scheduled shifts in the schedule. I know I'm saying it both ways. It is what it is. If you have a schedule in the scheduler, one of the things that you can do is keep those shifts pre-placed. Now, to have that pre-placed, you may as well have the employees. You may as well keep the purchased vehicles, because if not, the shifts are pointless. Let the game calculate its own shifts from there. Outside of that, you can build. For example, you can add on to the street. You can add on to your service center. You can do what you want, and when you save this and go to play this in just regular play mode of the scenario, you've got whatever you put together in here, so long as the include company premise is on. The one that I did find on the workshop was a premise already built. Everything else is to whatever you want to do. So it literally had this turned off, this turned off, this turned off. It literally kept this, had 0 goals, allow all buses. These settings were all default, and it literally had your whatever seed capital it had. I don't even remember. I think it might have been this value. And you had to go through with your regular stuff afterwards, I'm guessing. I don't know. They may even had this checked. I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I've only added it to my collection. And thank you to whomever that was. And we'll actually look at that here in a couple of minutes. But that's the gist of it, basically. Now I can go into research and boom. I can research anything I want. Easy peasy. We can expand the premise. And this is one I haven't touched on yet, is the ticket inspectors. And I don't know if you don't research that, if it affects anything. I don't know if you turn on the ticket inspectors, maybe then you have the fraudsters. I'm not sure. But I'll learn it. I'm too early in my game to really know what I'm going to be able to mess around with in that regard. Shift schedule is the biggest one for me that I hate how long it takes to deal with. You can build your shifts. You can, I think, go as far as 7 days. And you can reset anything upwards of beyond today. You can do it by depot. It does list all the depots here. You can have settings, so maximum number of hours during the shift. That should be illegal, but it's allowed in the game, apparently. And I think you'll have some very upset drivers if you do such. Also, some buses may not keep fueled that long. Where I'm at, the maximum is 12. Technically. But transport to and from also make it 12 and a half. How many desired, what's the desired time between 2 shifts? Well, in the simulated game without the scheduler, it's literally half an hour. I'm going to be honest with you. Legally, here in Nova Scotia, is 8 hours. And for the buses, you want some time in between to get it cleaned up, to get it fueled. I'm going to say a minimum of 3 hours to get all that stuff done, because let's be real. You've seen how long it takes if you've watched my videos before or anybody else's videos before. You have seen how long it takes to get the fuel, the wash, the internal clean. And that's if you have everything flawlessly back to back to back. And that would take an hour and a half on its own in this game for whatever reason, the simulation, I guess. All tours within a shift must have the same preferred vehicle group. Or just ignore preferred vehicle group if no suitable bus is available and just put a bus in there. And honestly, I don't know why I didn't notice that before unless this is new. I couldn't tell you. So guys, that is the scenario editor. Once done, in here, you can click save. You get this fancy little bus happening. And your scenario is successfully saved. You can also set up a preview image. Honestly, I'll show you the other one in a minute. I'm going to quickly go back to the main menu. I'm going to show you in my scenarios quickly the Nova Scotia one that I have been slowly working on. Again, it's based initially out of Halifax, and the reason being is because that's where I'm going to have the most buses. That's where I'm going to have the most challenge with the buses outside of the external depots. I can have them elsewhere. In this case, Nova Scotia Transit Authority create an entire network of buses through the province of Nova Scotia. The province has a population of just over 1 million people. Can you connect them all in a timely manner? And I will set up the goal for this at some point of network coverage. And network coverage, I need to figure out personally what percentage of network coverage connects the majority of the population. Having 1 million people, you have 60 to 65,000 in the County of Kings alone. In Halifax region, you probably have 350 to 450,000 people at this point. So that's where the bulk of it's going to be. But that's still only going to give you so much of a percentage when you have such a vast province. I have built myself up a lovely warehouse, a lovely set of bus fixer-upper locations, a massive service center with a massive amount of desks, a nice office with multiple conference tables. I might throw some chairs in there, don't know yet, because over here we have our kitchen, break room, and bathroom. I'm gonna test to see if I can put barriers between those toilets at some point, because otherwise that's not nice. I have bought 30 LFS in green, blue, and red, and I will continue to expand on the other buses that I carry. For now, I don't have anything assigned to parking spaces, but it started using large spaces because my mediums got filled very quickly. And gas stations. Come down here. You got your bus washes. And I will leave this open space to the heart's content. I have not expanded on the map yet. That will take its time because the province of Nova Scotia is massive. And first I need to know if I can actually expand that far. So if I can get this one done, I will upload it under Valley Value Gaming on Steam in the workshop for City Bus Manager. And if anyone ever has the chance to want to play around in it, by all means, I will be filming my progress after I get everything set up. In the actual gameplay of it, I will have everything going. And from there, you'll be able to make fun of me if I do a terrible job, or, you know, congratulate me if I do a good job. We don't know. All I know is it's playing the game for some reason, and we're losing money. And at this point, it deducts whatever I've already done out of here regardless. So, pretty straightforward. I'm getting that set up so that it's basically ready to go with buses, ready to go with employees. You just need to build the routes. So, with due time, right now you can go as far as east as Westfall, Cole Harbor, down to Eastern Passage, Ferguson's Cove. You've got Halifax all the way to the West End and through, when it zooms in through the area of Alexandra's Pizza, for example. This road will tell me. Herring Cove, there we go. Down through to almost Herring Cove. Herring Cove's a little further down that way. And yes, I am oddly familiar with the area. This map is different than the maps I usually look at when I'm down there. So, there is that. And lastly, I did promise to show the other one that I got off the workshop. Simple depot template to use for all those who hate building process and want to go straight in. Whoever made this, I don't remember at this point. Thank you. I'm going to quickly type in Fasasasad. In this case, I'm actually going to choose Moncton, New Brunswick, just for, you know what's in giggles. I'm sure I've cursed a couple times before, but I'm going to be nice in this one. I'm going to be nice. Download the map quickly because why not? I guess it's probably because I've never actually built one in that region, I guess. So that makes perfect sense. I never thought that one through. This is the first one I've built in the Moncton region, which I will do in a probable opportunity. Their depot in Moncton is, I believe, virtually close to this building right here. I think it's even a little further off, actually. In this case, don't put it in here because that's a roundabout. Highway roundabout at that. There's the Champlain Place Mall. Just going to, for the fun of it, stick it at the end of this road here. Now, let's see what this person has done for us. Thank you again, whoever you are. Can't play with the settings. They've turned that off. You still have to unlock everything. Your researches, still cost money. They still take different things. Now, they did turn on, nicefully, ticket inspectors, so it'd be something to learn in this one. Automatic refueling, washing, and cleaning of the buses is turned on. 6 expansions. I'm not sure why 6 expansions, because this map was not expanded 6 times, so they did some on their own. Thank you. And yeah, virtually, that's that. They have a nice little setup here. Look at that. I'm going to save this and utilize this at some point. Anyways, guys, it's been a pleasure showing you the scenarios situation. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bus on.